Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Movie Versus. My name is Raj Chetta, and this week we'll be covering Mulan 98 versus Mulan 2020. But before we do that, we need to finalize the winner of last episode, Wonder Woman versus Wonder Woman 84, and it's pretty clear and obvious that Wonder Woman, not Wonder Woman 84, the original Wonder Woman from 2017, is the winner of Movie Versus. I honestly, it was pretty obvious, to be quite honest with you, judging by the two movies, and it's kind of sad because I was actually really looking forward to, and I actually did legitimately want to love 84 as much as I could, but there's a lot of stuff holding it back for me, and I'm pretty sure similar sentiments have been spread throughout the entire nerd fandom. You know, like a lot of people did not like it as much as they did, just like me. I wish it wasn't the case. I wish 84 was better, but unfortunately it's not. So Wonder Woman 2017 is a much better film all around, and it's pretty quite obvious. One of the main reasons, of course, is the iconic No Man's Land scene. Like that scene alone just made the movie for everybody, including myself. But that's all in the past. Speaking of the past, let's head all the way back to ancient China, where we get to look at two movies, both presented by Disney, and one is clearly animated and the other is in live action. This is Mulan 98 versus Mulan 2020. Mulan 2020 and 98, despite how similar they are in terms of the name, the story, and some of the characters and whatnot, they are completely different. Not just because one is animated and the other isn't. I'm talking about like both in terms of execution and some of the ideas implemented. Make both films 100% different, actually. Despite how the story beats are pretty much the same, sure, in terms of how they're presented, how they're executed, it's different. It really is different. In terms of the similarities, both are about a strong-willed young female from ancient China that strives to defend her home from invaders and bring honor to her country and family. But in terms of differences, one has catchy but kind of unnecessary musical numbers, which doesn't really change the plot at all if they were removed, which was actually the case for the live-action film. One features a talking dragon voiced by Eddie Murphy, and the remake has imaginary phoenix, chi, dark magic from a witch that turned into a bird. They're completely different in terms of how they were executed, as well as how they were made. Obviously, I don't really need to tell you that. One is animated, the other is not animated. So those are like the major differences. However, both films, in terms of how I feel about them personally, I am not a huge sucker of Mulan in general. Yes, the songs from the 98 original are amazing. They're catchy, they're memorable, but like I said, if they took out those songs, you wouldn't really change anything. If they just had a straight up montage of Mulan's training, just like they did in the live action film, it wouldn't really change a thing. If anything, it just kind of shortens the runtime just a little bit in terms of that. But here's my main issue with Mulan 2020 in particular, actually, and it's something that worked really well with the 98 film, is that they kept all of the, like, most of the stuff is very ambiguous. Like, they imply certain elements here and there. For the most part, aside from the talking dragon and the spirits, of course, it felt a little more realistic, which is kind of odd considering it's an animated movie. But it felt realistic in terms of its themes and in how it's presented, you know. And if anything, if you really think about it, the talking dragon bits really feel like it's coming from Mulan's imagination. It's not really, like, nobody even sees the talking dragon, except of course the animals and Mulan herself. Nobody else notices that. So the ideas are very much implied that all of this stuff that is happening to Mulan, it's happening through her perspective, through her imagination, through her story. And I thought that's actually kind of brilliant, you know? It makes it feel a little bit more realistic. The ancestors, especially, their spirits and whatnot. Obviously, nobody would be able to see those spirits unless they are, you know, very much close to that family. You know what I mean? However, my problem with the 2020 film is that they make it abundantly clear that Qi and dark magic exists in this reality. But the problem is, if you took away the Qi and the dark magic and the crazy bird-changing witch, it doesn't really change anything. It really doesn't change the story at all. If anything, it felt like it was distracting for me seeing all this crazy stuff happen on screen, rather than have it be implied. Because for the most part, especially since this was live action, I was kind of looking forward to a more realistic tale on the Ballad of Mulan. I was actually looking forward to that. But the moment we see that witch that literally transforms into a bird via CGI, I'm like, it took me out of the experience. But then I kind of considered this myself. Am I watching this and hating it because of my love for the 98 film? I thought so at first, but the more I kept watching it, the more I realized how similar and how different both films are. And come to think of it, I'm just not that big of a fan of either film. That's just my opinion alone. Like, I wish I was a fan of Disney's Mulan, or whether it's the animated film or the live action. I wish I was a fan, but I'm just clearly not. I love the story. Like, it's an iconic tale of fighting for honor and fighting for who you are. You know, it's a powerful tale. But in terms of how Disney presented it, both times kind of felt short in my opinion. However, I will give it to the 98 film for presenting those themes a little bit more realistically, despite the fact that it's, you know, animated and it has musical numbers. But I still very much enjoyed the 2020 film, despite me having various reservations from watching it. Trust me, I was not looking forward to seeing Mulan 2020 due to how many people have told me that this movie is utter trash, how the Chinese audiences are straight up hating this movie, what's happening to the lead actress herself, and how this was filmed in general. I don't want to talk about that stuff. If you want to hear the horror stories, the news horror stories regarding the behind the scenes of Mulan 2020, go follow the likes of, say, Clownfish TV or wherever you get your movie news from. I'm not presenting movie news, I'm presenting movie reviews, okay? I hope you got that through. So, all in all, Mulan 98 for me gets a solid A- in terms of how the themes were presented. The animation is there, the The music is really, really catchy and whatnot. For Mulan 2020, I thought I was gonna go low, but turns out it's actually not that bad. It's not gonna kill you. It's not gonna harm you. It is just a movie. I wish we could just go and watch movies and just enjoy watching movies again. And for the most part, with both films, I actually did enjoy myself. I was actually having a pretty good time watching both films. So, in my opinion, I believe Mulan 2020 definitely deserves a B. It's not the worst live-action Disney remake I've ever seen. That honor goes to The Lion King. Wow, I hated that movie. But let me know what you think. Which film did you like more? Which film did you think deserves the winner of this episode alone? And let me know what two movies you would love to see in the coming weeks or months for future episodes of Movie Versus. Next episode, we'll be covering Inception versus Tenet. Yep. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Until then, please hit like, subscribe, share with all of your friends and family. Hit the bell button for notifications of when I eventually post. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Take care.